Is it possible to put out the sun? For instance, what would happen if we poured all of Earth's oceans onto it? Or even more water? Let's explore the idea. The universe is full of mysteries. For ages, scientists have debated how space functions. But one thing has always been certain: the sun. The center of our solar system is massive, bright, and seemingly eternal. But in reality, the sun is just an ordinary star, made up of 75% hydrogen, with some helium and trace elements. Gravity keeps it all together. But in about 5 billion years, the sun's life cycle will come to an end. When the hydrogen inside runs out, it will begin to expand, and we won't be able to imagine how large it will grow. It will start consuming the nearby planets, including Earth. After that, the sun will continue as a red giant for another billion years before shrinking and fading into a white dwarf. Eventually, it will become nothing more than a planetary nebula. Fortunately, we're living during the sun's most stable phase, around 4.5 billion years into its 10 billion year life cycle. So, there's no reason to worry, at least not yet. But what if we could speed up its demise with water? What if we collected all the water on Earth and dumped it on the sun? First, we'd need a container big enough to hold around 326 million cubic miles of water. That's a huge distance, and if we used standard buckets, we'd need about 70 quintillion of them. Now, let's imagine we've gathered all that water. We pour it onto the sun and nothing happens. The sun doesn't even notice. In fact, it might respond with a tiny solar flare, reminding us just how insignificant Earth's water supply is compared to its size. The sun is so vast, it can fit over 1 million Earths inside it. But what if we added enough water? We'd need about 370 octillion buckets, an unimaginable amount. We splash it onto the sun again, and instead of putting it out, the sun grows bigger and brighter. The sun isn't a fire like we know it on Earth. Fire here involves chemical combustion, where water cools the flames by absorbing heat and cutting off oxygen. But the sun's energy comes from nuclear fusion, not fire. Hydrogen atoms deep within the sun fuse together under immense pressure, releasing energy in a process that doesn't require oxygen. So, dumping water on the sun is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The hydrogen in water would only fuel the sun further, causing it to burn even hotter and faster. Adding all that water would increase the sun's mass, intensifying its gravitational pull and speeding up nuclear fusion. As a result, the sun would expand, consuming nearby planets, including Earth, before collapsing into a black hole. So, pouring water on the sun is a terrible idea. Let's rewind and leave the sun alone. But wait, without oceans, life on Earth is doomed. The oceans, which regulate climate, absorb CO2, and provide oxygen, would be gone. Fish and marine life would perish. Deep-sea creatures would die due to pressure changes, and coral reefs responsible for producing a large portion of the planet's oxygen would dry up. Forests would catch fire. Animals would flee. And without water, humans wouldn't survive. Without oceans, the planet would heat up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit or more. No clouds would block the sun's rays, and the last remaining icebergs would melt. Earth would become an uninhabitable desert. Silly humans. Subscribe the channel and stay tuned with The Daily 5.